Hi, I'm Kat, I play Sims, and I made an apartment for a Crafty sim. I used one of the smaller apartments in San Myshuno. I gave it a businesses and hobbies floor and some cozy bistro in the bathroom. I was going for quite a colourful scheme, so I used Courtyard Oasis on the walls in there briefly and then decided it was just a touch too much. I got a Love Struck wallpaper for the bedroom and then just a really basic colour for the rest of the apartment because I knew that the furniture and stuff I was picking was going to be pretty extreme in colours. I decided on a kind of pink, purple and yellow colour scheme. I briefly tried to use one of the movie hangout doors and I did use one from Nifty Knitting as well, but I decided that was a little bit too much and used high school years instead. For the bathroom, I picked a couple of unusual items, so I got this Jungle Adventure sink because it had a teal colour on it that I liked, and just a sort of plain cats and dogs toilet. The bathtub was pretty plain as well, it was from Get Together, but then I swung straight back the other way and got the movie hangout mirror, which is kind of insane in colour. I used the tiny living shelf above the toilet and it had a swatch with a towel that was perfect for with the sink. And then I put the little clutter bits on the walls and sink side and some towels and things like that for the walls. The original intent was to use no custom content, but I broke that rule very, very quickly in the bathroom and just went on from there. I used the bed from the Pride event a while ago and then a City Living table because it was a really nice colour of purple, and I got a Love Struck desk for in the corner there with a cosy gamer chair. I was trying to go mostly purple in this room, and in the end the only dresser I could find that fit was from Life and Death, and I used a custom content mirror and some decorations as well. Obviously, as well as the standard plants, I had to get the open book from Comfy Gamer, and then I used some CC on the walls for decoration. As well as that custom content, I also wanted to use the new artwork from the African Inspired update, and I got a fairly plain carpet from the Refined Living Room kit in here. I just put some clutter on the desk, including some glasses and a little loom type item, and then I moved out into the entryway. I used a lot of Nifty Knitting in this apartment because it was meant to be for an artistic sim. I put some pictures up on the walls, and then I got the typical entryway clutter, which is like the post and the bags hanging from it. I remembered an item in Nifty Knitting that I wanted to use, so I moved things on the walls a bit, but I'd forgotten how big this item actually was. It's like a Crafty pegboard. So I put it running across the bigger wall, and then I added the flag from the Pride update as well and the gallery wall from the same update, and then I put the little hanging jacket and stuff in there. I added some decorative items to the artist's room, and then I went back out in the living room to do that. I moved the pegboard a little bit and put down a paranormal TV stand. I only used a small TV, but I gave them a gaming console and moved it all around a bit to make it fit better. I didn't have a huge space out here, so I used a love seat from high school years rather than a sofa. It fit the colour scheme really nicely, and then I moved into the kitchen, which I made completely non-functional. So I added counters from Dream Home Decorator and the fridge from one of the more recent kits, I think Kitchen Clutter. I wanted to use the hob item from Dream Home Decorator that goes on top of the cabinets instead of a traditional oven, but once I'd done the counters, I completely forgot that I needed it, so this sim doesn't have any oven at all. And at no point did I realise that, even when I was reorganising art and things in the kitchen, so I just moved on to the artist space from there. This was a fairly small space for what I wanted, but I did manage to get both the pottery wheel and kiln in there. I also got an easel, and I put some knitting stuff out in the living room next to the sofa. I wanted a desk in the art room because I wanted to add the digital sketchpad as well as the easel. So I did shuffle it around just a little bit and used quite a plain desk from Snowy Escape. And I put that in front of one of the big windows with a sketchpad on it. Anytime I make a space with an easel or any other kind of messy craft, I always put down the artist's studio rug that looks like paint splatters. And I put up a couple of little bits of extra art in here as well. I added the big businesses and hobbies rug in the white and yellow colour just to bring some more of that yellow into the living room, and I put the Adventure Awaits rug as a doormat in front of the front door. For the living room, I just layered a few high school years and a custom content rug to fill quite a lot of space on the floor. I added a full-length mirror to the wall, which was custom content as well, and I put in a radiator in place of a fireplace. I was just mostly looking for ways to use wall art in as many places as I could because I didn't want a lot of empty space on the walls. I also decided to fill the corner with a little table with some artwork on, and I thought it might be fun to go into the businesses and hobbies debug and add a few bits of pre-made pottery like the gnome, a cake stand and a couple of little candle burners spread across the apartment. I grabbed some sketches and then some clutter for the kitchen, including cereal, which gives your Sims something to eat at least. And that basically finished off the non-functional apartment for an artistic sim, so thanks for watching, enjoy the screenshots. Please consider a like and subscribe.